Hello and welcome everybody to LiquidRet Day! Yeah, I'm so excited. Today I'm going to be casting a set of games all from Team Liquid's Ret. I was actually very excited this weekend to see that a whole bunch of Ret games had been uploaded to se2rep.com, and I've really been wanting to analyze Ret's style of play lately. So I'm going to be casting 3 games today from Team Liquid's Ret. I'm going to be casting a ZVZ, a ZVP, and a ZVT. So I am super excited, and spawning here in the bottom left corner as the red Zerg, we have Team Liquid's Ret. Yeah, his opponent today, his Zerg opponent today, is going to be RGIMatiz, spawning as the blue Zerg in the top right corner of Xel'Naga Caverns. Going to be watching both of these players play, but I'm going to be putting just a little bit, a smidgen of an emphasis on Ret's play today. So we are going to be focusing a lot on what Ret is doing and the way he's going to be playing this out. Definitely excited for this. Looks like he is throwing down a 14 pool. Most likely going to see a 14 hatch following that up. That is the typical 14 gas, 14 pool is pretty common for those Zerg players. Now, what are we seeing from his opponent? Nothing going down for his opponent yet, and it looks like we're actually going to be seeing a fast expansion here coming down for RGIMatiz, and yeah, that looks like that is exactly what we are seeing here. So how is Ret going to respond to this? This is always something that I'm very curious to know, because as a Zerg player, a lot of times when I go for this fast gas and fast pool opening, and then I go and scout my opponent and see that he's got a fast expansion down, I go, oh, well, now what? Now he's just going to be ahead of me in econ. Now I always feel like there's like this extra pressure that now I've got to hurry up and kill him because he's going to get ahead of me on economy. So we're going to see how Ret's going to actually deal with this. Now, let's note that Ret has not actually scouted yet. He has not actually scouted yet. No drone went out yet. This Overlord is going to be his only scouting information. Why? Because, well, his opponent most likely can't really have too much this early in the game, and because this is a smaller map, this Overlord is going to get here in time to be able to check out the hatchery, even probably be able to poke into the base before a queen is up, or maybe even just as the queen gets up. We can see that spawning pool just now finishes, able to start that that Zergling speed right away, and now he's pulling, you're actually going to see him pull, I think, more drones off of gas. He already pulled 1 off, there goes 2 off. He's currently going to be leaving 1 in there, and his Zergling speed is now coming up. 6 Zerglings are being produced. He did just now scout his opponent's hatchery, so it looks like he's going to be trying to apply some pressure. Ret's feeling a little bit of that pressure of his own, so he's going to feel like he needs to apply a little bit of pressure on his own because his opponent is going to be getting ahead in the economy. And so what's he doing? He pulled guys off of gas to try to get up his mineral count faster and get up this hatchery as fast as he can. What's Ret's advantage right now? Ret's advantage right now is in the fact that he's going to have more Zerglings up, and they are going to have speed up way earlier. So he's going to need to use that to his advantage right now. He's going to start to push in with these drones, and it looks like Matiz is going to be pulling back his drones, trying to prevent them from getting too much damage dealt to them. And as we can see, he's just now popping out a few Zerglings of his own, but as we can see, Ret's Zergling speed is way ahead. His opponent just now starting that Zergling speed, just now getting a queen up. So it's Ret's actually going to have this brief period where he's actually going to be able to have more larvae because he already has that queen up. Baneling Nest also now coming up for Ret, so it looks like he's going to be trying to put some pressure on his opponent while his hatch comes up. This is exactly what this allows him to do. By having these Zerglings out here, applying pressure to this base, it is forcing his opponent to make more units to be able to deal with these Zerglings, and now he's got his Zergling speed up, which he knows he has got to have ahead of his opponent. He knows he's got to have his Zergling speed, and his opponent will not, and that's exactly what we're seeing. More Zerglings coming out right now for Ret, and we're actually going to watch for the moment he stops creating Zerglings and goes back to creating drones. He's creating a lot of Zerglings right now. He knows he needs to apply a little bit of pressure. This is his advantage right now. He's constantly trying to press his advantage. There we go. We finally see a drone coming up there for Ret, it looks like. And all these Zerglings are now going to be moving in, seeing that his opponent is making Zerglings and wants to continue to try to apply pressure, wants to show presence here so that his opponent continues to make Zerglings. And as we can see, that's exactly what his opponent is doing. His opponent did get a Spine Crawler up, but now we have a Baneling Nest here coming up, or a 1 Baneling here coming up for Ret. Why? Doesn't want to overly commit, doesn't have a lot of guys mining gas right now. Still only has 1 drone, 2 drones right now mining gas, and it looks like that Baneling is going to come up right now, and will it be able to deal damage? And holy cow, yeah, it actually got quite a few Banelings there, and now he's in a pretty good position here to deal a lot of damage. He forced his opponent to make a lot of Zerglings when he should have been making drones, and then he really didn't even get to really use them too much. And what's Ret doing behind this? 8 drones. The second he did damage and the second he felt like he was ahead, started producing a lot of drones, and what's his opponent forced to do? look at what his opponent is forced to make. Lots and lots of Zerglings. His opponent needs to be able to make Zerglings because now he needs to feel safe. He knows his opponent has a lot of Lings. Is Rhett just going to be producing a lot more Lings and going all in to deal damage? I don't know, but I need to produce Banelings to be able to defend it just in case. Need to produce more Zerglings to be able to defend before I can go back to more drone production. And as we can see, Rhett is now going to be way ahead in drones. 32 Harvesters to 23 Harvesters. He is way ahead in Harvesters right now. Now Rhett is pulling back, and he knows his opponent is making Zerglings right now, right? He's got all these Overlords in fantastic positions to be able to scout. All these Overlords scouting all the main attack paths. His opponent, he knows, is going to be able to make Zerglings right now. His opponent is going to not feel safe and going to need to make more Zerglings. So what's he going to do? He's going to make some Banelings, and he's going to be a little more defensive with it, keeping one Baneling back here. The rest of him going to apply more pressure while he builds more drones and gets up his tech. We see that there is a Roach Warren going down here somewhere. Yeah, there's the Roach Warren going down, Evolution Chamber going down here as he continues to apply pressure. This allows him to see what his opponent is doing, and he's actually not dealing too much damage there with those Banelings, but at this point he's just feeling so strong and so ahead. He needs to continue to apply pressure to force his opponent to make army units, and also to hopefully overproduce Zerglings. If Rhett makes 8 Zerglings, and his opponent sees those 8 Zerglings and goes, oh man, my opponent's making Zerglings, and makes 12 Zerglings, just because he says, well, his opponent's got a lot of Zerglings, I better make a bunch of Zerglings, Rhett is now going to be ahead if Rhett was building drones behind that. So that's exactly what we're seeing here from Rhett. This pressure allows him to get his tech up, allows him to keep his opponent focused on his base, and it, of course, allows his opponent to continue to produce army units. In the meantime, looks like he is now getting those roaches out. Let's check out that harvester count once again. Looks like his opponent has finally caught up in harvesters. And you might say, oh man, Matisse, he's back in this game. He caught up on harvesters. But Rhett is still making more harvesters. As we can see, a bunch just popped out there. And Rhett is still way ahead in food. Why? Because he dealt all this damage early on, and he's not giving his opponent the chance to put pressure back on. His opponent is forced to now sit back and make more drones. So Rhett is continuing to make more drones. That's exactly what we're seeing Rhett do right now. In the base of Matisse, we do see that he is getting that layer tech up right now. Rhett starting his a little bit later. His is a little bit later, but he's up ahead in terms of all other tech. No roach speed yet, but he is getting up a few roaches. His opponent has no roaches currently out on the field. Rhett continuing to just drone. He's actually oversaturated like crazy at his natural expansion, and it looks like he's going to be looking to take this gold expansion here pretty soon. In a good spot. Why is it smart to take this gold expansion? You would say, hey, you know what? Zergs usually take this as their 3rd expansion. Why is he taking this expansion? It's because of the units. Because of the units that his opponent has, and for the most part, the units are even. They're about the same speed. Against a Zerg player or against a Protoss player who have very, very strong units that when they're kept in one big death ball, then he doesn't want to be putting his bases out here in the middle of the map where that big death ball is going to be, I don't know, maybe right here defending their base, and they can just easily apply pressure on your base. You want to abuse the mobility of your units, the fact that your units are generally faster and more mobile than your opponent's units, and you want to keep your bases far away from your opponent so that you can have as many opportunities as you can to be able to counterattack, to be able to defend your bases with your more mobile units. Always good here, but in ZVZ, you're pretty much going to be going up against the same units for the most part. For the most part, you're going up against identical units. More Lings, more Roaches, maybe Infestors, maybe Mutalisks. If his opponent was going Mutalisk tech, he'd be way behind right now just because he's done so much damage and he's so ahead of his opponent right now. If his opponent went Mutalisks, he wouldn't be able to get them up at a very optimal time. And I feel like Rhett would pretty well be able to defend against them. He did manage to get an Overlord in there to scout. Has he actually seen anything in his opponent's base? He's seen the Roach Warren. He's seen the Evolution Chamber. Pretty confident. He's got to be feeling pretty confident right now that his opponent is going to be going for a little bit more Roach Infestor kind of play, or maybe Roach Ling style from his opponent right now. So he's continuing to just produce a lot of Roaches. And as we can see on the food count, continuing to just stay way ahead in the tech, getting this hatchery up right now. And now we just see Rhett being very, very confident in his macro style, continuing to just produce lots and lots of roaches, keep in mind, his opponent is still producing drones because his opponent is trying to catch up in economy as best as possible, and he's pretty much forced to do this. Whoa, he's actually way oversaturated in his main right now and needs to get some more on this expansion here. Not too bad though. Looks like his opponent is going to be trying to take that gold expansion as well, but in the meantime, Rhett has already gotten his gold expansion up and is going to continue to produce a lot of roaches. Now we can actually see that he's actually behind in Infestor Tech right now. His pathogen glands is going to be a little bit behind. His opponent already has pathogen glands up. He already has infestors out on the field. But at this point, Red is going to be so far ahead in roaches that the fungal growth at this point hardly matters, especially because he's mining on these minerals. Roaches are very super mineral heavy. They're very mineral heavy, but by the fact that he's got this gold expansion, he's soon going to start having such a high mineral income that he's going to be able to outproduce his opponent in roaches by a long shot. And at that point, infestors are if you can just outnumber your opponent just in straight up numbers of roaches, infestors are going to make a difference, but LiquidRet is really hoping here that it's not going to be enough of a difference here to matter. He is trying to spread out his units. As we can see, he's got this Overlord out here, sees that his opponent has these infestors, but he's spreading out all his roaches as much as he can. I'd actually like to see a little bit more spread here. It'd be nice if maybe these roaches were up here maybe, or if he just, in general, just spread them out just a little bit more. But this is going to, of course, mean to fungal growth all these roaches, this is going to take quite a few fungal growths to be able to get them all. In the base of his opponent, we see his opponent knows he's ahead, going to be double expanding here to try to catch up to the economy of Rhett, but we can see Rhett just continuing to macro very heavily. Let's check out that harvester count right now. We can see that Rhett currently sitting at 62 harvesters. Currently, that is a pretty good spot to be at this point in ZVZ, and it looks like now he's just pretty much transitioned into strictly roaches, more and more roaches, getting more upgrades, got 2 evolution chambers up right now. Now we can actually see that there are infestors currently at both of the bases. Actually going to be pretty deadly here for Rhett. One thing that I like to do is get up a spore crawler at each of my bases in this matchup, just because it is so common to get some of these infestor shenanigans up. And here we now see Rhett's forces moving in. Will these infestors be doing anything? All the roaches are coming up, keeping those infestors. Needs to be careful with them that he doesn't get them just killed right away, but it looks like the forces of Rhett now moving up. In the meantime, nothing going on still over there. Lots of fungal growths going down here. Nice fungal growth there by Rhett. Fungal growths going down on his opponent, but the fact that his roaches are just really spread out, it's really going to diminish the effect that the fungal growths have. In the meantime, we do see that there we go, the infested Terrans are going down. Rhett being forced to pull all his drones back. Harvester count dropping quite a bit here for Rhett, but he's so far ahead right now in roaches and continuing to produce lots and lots more roaches. He's going to keep mining on those gold patches, and it looks like he's going to be able to clean up those infestors. He's going to be able to take out his bonus expansion, and I think that from here on out, it is going to be easy peasy here for Rhett, as he is so far ahead, and he has just really been so far ahead from so early on in this matchup that he's going to be pretty good. His opponent currently 2-0 in upgrades to the 2-2 upgrades of Rhett right now. And see, that's the thing about infestors, about getting infestors. If you sink a lot of resources into getting infestors, yes, it'll help a lot if you just have a few roaches in your roach infestor mix, but Rhett, by not spending as many resources early on into getting a lot of infestor tech up, he can make sure that his roaches are in a very good position to be farther in upgrades, and mean that he's really not going to need as many roaches, or infestors rather. As we check out the unit counting station right now, we can see that he's only got 2 infestors out on the field right now, and I think he's only ever had 2 infestors out on the field. Why? Because he just needs a couple of fungal growths. He knows that his roaches are going to be way ahead in upgrades, so he's in a pretty good spot right now. And as I said, in this particular game, Rhett's just kind of been ahead since the beginning, was able to get his opponent off balance a little bit. Nice fungal growth there, goes down for his opponent. Looks like a lot of damage going to be dealt to those roaches. But in the meantime here, again, Rhett really does not care. Going to continue pushing forward here, and those infestors, as we can see, are just not going to do that much, just because he's got sheer numbers. He's just got huge numbers, more infestors coming in here. Look at how these roaches are going to be spreading out here. Nice fungal growths going down, about as good a fungal growths going down as he can get. But Rhett just continuing to just macro, got this gold base, feeling very good, taking another base in case he needs it. I don't even think he's going to need it, as his infestors, or as his roaches are continuing to push in. Any hive tech yet? Looks like not getting that hive tech. Completely focused on getting more and more roaches right now and just flooding his opponent with roaches, and I expect a GG here from Matiz any moment there, so excellent play there from Rhett. I'd actually like to spend some more time examining Rhett's play. Rhett's ZVZ is actually really, really interesting to me, and I would actually really like to see it just because infestors right now are just so heavy, and I want to see if he's actually doing this all the time. But that's not going to be for today, as right now we're going to be going into LiquidRet's ZVP, so don't go anywhere if you want to see more from Team Liquid's Rhett.